Global royal obsession. Princess Leonor 2025 lavished wedding inspires new bridal dreams. It began as a royal love story the world thought would never happen. A young princess, raised in the shadow of duty, suddenly standing in the light of love, honor, and destiny. But what unfolded in Spain in 2025 was far more than just a royal wedding. It was a moment that captured hearts, ignited dreams, and redefined what modern royalty truly means. Because while most expected a quiet, regal ceremony, what the world witnessed instead was a celebration that transcended borders. A royal event so breathtaking, so deeply emotional, that millions called it the wedding of the century. Yet behind the perfection of the gown, the flawless procession, and the golden vows, lay a story few could ever imagine, a story of young love tested by tradition, of a family torn between duty and desire, and of a nation falling in love all over again with its future queen. Princess Leonor of Spain, graceful, poised, the very image of modern monarchy, stepped into a destiny centuries in the making. And as she walked down that aisle, every eye, from Madrid to Monte Carlo, from London to Los Angeles, was fixed upon her. The daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia had not just found love, she had inspired a new generation of dreamers. Her wedding wasn't simply royal, it was symbolic. It was a bridge between the old world of monarchy and the new world of love without boundaries. The moment she appeared in her ivory silk gown, designed by Spain's most celebrated couturier, the air seemed to still. The veil, embroidered with delicate threads of gold representing the unity of Spain's diverse regions, glistened beneath the cathedral lights. But beyond the spectacle, what truly moved the world was the emotion in Leonor's eyes. The tremor in her voice as she said, "Sí, quiero." Yes, I do. And there, standing before her, was a man who defied expectations. A foreign royal, but one who carried himself with quiet humility, deep respect, and unmistakable admiration for the woman before him. His love story with Leonor began not in palaces or at state dinners, but in the shared silence of understanding, the kind only two people destined for each other could feel. For years, the Spanish royal family had guarded Leonor's private life with unbreakable discretion. But when whispers began that she had found someone who matched her spirit, the world watched with fascination. Who was he? What did he bring into her life that no one else could? And then, when their engagement was announced early in 2025, Spain erupted. Streets filled with music, balconies waved the red and yellow flag, and the world's media descended upon Madrid. It wasn't just another royal union, it was the embodiment of renewal. Every detail of the wedding reflected Leonor's quiet defiance. She chose inclusivity over exclusivity, inviting not only nobles and politicians but artists, soldiers, teachers, and children from across Spain. She wanted her wedding to reflect her reign, connected, modern, and compassionate. As she entered the royal cathedral of Almedina, the choir's voice rose in harmony, echoing through centuries of history. Cameras from around the globe streamed live, yet somehow, the moment felt intimate. Queen Letizia, elegant yet emotional, was seen whispering a quiet blessing. King Felipe, often stoic, wiped away a tear. In that moment, Spain wasn't just witnessing a royal ceremony, it was witnessing the future. But what made this wedding unforgettable wasn't just its grandeur, it was its meaning. Because Leonor had always carried the weight of expectation, as heir, as daughter, as symbol. And now, as bride, she showed the world that love and leadership are not opposites, they are partners. The reception was a spectacle of royal tradition meeting modern innovation. The royal palace courtyard was transformed into a garden of white roses and Spanish olive trees, symbolizing peace and endurance. Guests included royalty from Denmark, Norway, Japan, the United Kingdom, and Monaco. But beyond the glittering titles and elegant attire, there was warmth, a sincerity rarely seen in royal gatherings. Music filled the night air, traditional Spanish melodies blended with modern harmonies. Leonor and her husband shared their first dance under cascading lights shaped like stars. It wasn't rehearsed perfection, it was genuine love. And across social media, a new global obsession was born. Millions of brides began reimagining their own weddings, inspired by Leonor's grace and simplicity. Bridal designers reported record-breaking requests for gowns with Spanish influence, lace mantillas, gold thread embroidery, long cathedral veils. Even wedding planners in New York and London described 2025 as the Leonor year. But as the fairy tale unfolded, whispers began to emerge. How had Leonor managed to balance love with duty? Could a queen in waiting truly have both? Some royal watchers questioned whether this marriage would change the monarchy itself. Inside the palace, sources described a young woman determined to carve her own path. Leonor had reportedly told her advisors that her wedding was not an escape from responsibility, but a declaration of how she intended to rule, with heart, not hierarchy. The king and queen, once cautious, came to see that their daughter's courage was her greatest strength. In private moments, Felipe was said to have told her, "You are not just my daughter. You are Spain's hope." And as the days following the ceremony unfolded, the world's fascination only deepened. Fashion magazines called her the People's Princess of Spain. Political analysts described her as the soft power of a new Europe. Every photo, every gesture, every word became headline material. But beneath all the glamour lay something far simpler, and far more powerful. Leonor's belief that love does not diminish duty, it deepens it. That to lead a nation, one must first understand its heart. Weeks later, as she and her new husband began their first public duties as a married couple, Spain witnessed something extraordinary. Crowds in every city cheered, not just for royalty, but for renewal. For hope. For the idea that in a world divided by politics and fear, love could still unite. From Seville to Barcelona, from Madrid to Majorca, little girls carried flowers and wore tiny tiaras, dreaming of their own futures. Not as princesses waiting to be saved, but as leaders ready to rise. And in that way, Leonor's wedding did something no royal event had done in decades: it revived faith in monarchy through the lens of humanity. Every story, every photograph, every whispered detail added to the legend. The press called it the global royal obsession. But perhaps it was more than that. It was a collective longing for something pure, something beautiful, something real. As night fell over Madrid, fireworks painted the sky with royal gold and crimson. The newlyweds stood hand in hand on the balcony of the royal palace, waving to a sea of light and cheers below. The bells of Almedina rang once more, echoing through the city streets. And for one breathtaking moment, Spain stood still, united not by politics or power, but by love. Princess Leonor's wedding had become more than history. It had become a dream reborn. A reminder that even within the confines of royal duty, love can still rewrite destiny. And as 2025 drew to a close, one thing was clear: the world would not stop watching. Because every bride who dared to dream, every leader who believed in compassion, and every heart that longed for meaning, found a reflection of themselves in Spain's young queen-to-be. Her story was not just a chapter in the royal archives, it was a living legend. A fairy tale that reminded humanity that love, when met with courage, can indeed change the course of a nation. The wedding of Princess Leonor was not the end of her story, it was the radiant beginning of a new royal era. And as the world watched her step into the light, hand in hand with her love, they realized something extraordinary. It wasn't just a royal wedding. It was a message that love, pure, fearless, and true, will always reign supreme.